Welcome, nice. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Inside Star Citizen Thought Factory. So this is where I watch Inside Star Citizen, normally for the first time. I'd have actually watched this episode though. But anyways, I basically tell you my thoughts and opinions on it, and as we're watching it, I do have a couple of guests with me. Um, let's see if I can get one out here. Let's see. Excuse me, I'm trying. I got me a couple of guests with me. This is called a Chinese gosling, and I've got two of them. So if you hear them chirping, that's them. I've just got them kind of warm in my pocket here. They're warming up. Anyways, so you'll probably hear them chirping. So let's go ahead and get started here.
Hey everybody, the upcoming 3.17.2 patch looks to bring with it a variety of new gameplay opportunities, bug improvements, and one of the ways it aims to do that is to include important evolutions of mission systems you may already be familiar with. On this week's show, we're looking at two important expansions beginning with the addition of delivery missions specific to those unafraid of breaking the law.
Currently in Star Citizen, we have our delivery missions that everyone knows. They're only for legal, law-abiding citizens. We have no missions for someone who's on the wrong side of the law, someone who lives out of Grim Hex. And in 3.17.2, we will rectify that by adding our illegal delivery missions. The illegal delivery missions in 3.17.2 are going to function somewhat similarly to the legal ones, but they get run through a different organization. You will be running them through Redwin.
I thought we already had illegal delivery missions. Did we not? I thought like there was illegal drug running, or did they take that out? They might have had it in before and then took it out, and now they're putting it back in. I'm not sure. You know, because I remember the Red Wing. But anyways, let's look at this. So 3,000 collect package. You know, all the regular stuff. So again, this is for reputation building. So you'll definitely build your reputation on these delivery missions. And again, it's going to be on the other side of the law, like they're stating. And you know, I think most people are going to have to either choose one side. So it's going to be hard to remain neutral, because if you build rep with criminal organization, you're going to lose rep with, you know, the law enforcement side of the UEE or whatnot. So I think maybe in the future they'll bring out more neutral missions. But yeah, we'll have to see how that works.
You will have to build up your reputations with them. They will test your trust. They will see that you're reliable by doing fairly legal things at the beginning, and eventually they will give you one of these missions where you...
I cannot wait till these containers come down, you know, come off of it and detach. I can't wait till they start getting their detachment, their, you know, containers, like so for the Argo Mole. You know, I can't wait till the little saddlebags come off, and you can, you know, put more on there, drop them off to like a caterpillar, you know, that your org has or something, you know, and then just they'll load it up onto the caterpillar, wait for you to come back with some more, drop it off, you know, instead of having to constantly go back and forth, you know, to a refining facility.
Legal things at the beginning, and eventually they will give you one of these missions where you have to do something a bit dodgy. And based on how you do that thing, they will either open this career path for you or not. There will be some risks involved. You will have to visit some really...
I like the machines and stuff that you drop these into, but I also think that it needs to be humans that you bring the packages to as well. Not just put them in the little these little orange drop-off boxes. Come on, where is it? So yeah, so the Kovalex, probably butchering that. Um, these Kovalex drop-off boxes are shipping. I think that should be more for like the legal side of things, and then the illegal side of things, you're dealing more with like a shady person or a shady AI, something like that. Um, but yeah, we definitely need to expand this because and maybe in the future they plan on doing so.
There will be some risks involved.
Pico,
You will
in the
have to visit
background.
some really nefarious locations, some drug labs, some stashes
I
where
cannot
generally.
wait. I'm sorry, I keep pausing it. I cannot wait. See these things back here? These are like the little um you can grow plants and stuff in them. I can't wait till you can have your own habs and your own outpost that grow nothing but this stuff. You're gonna have people that's growing like, I guess, widow and stuff like that, the illegal stuff, and you're gonna have people that are growing regular food. And I'm interested to see how many food variants we have, and obviously with this right here, the little growing doohickey, whatever it's called, um, you shouldn't have to worry about seasons or whatnot. Now, the problem with that is like, because you don't have to worry about seasons when growing these things, you're going to find the food that's more in demand at that time and grow it, instead of the food that's not in higher demand. Because again, the economy is going to be fluctuating. So some food that might be selling good one time, might not sell good as much as another time. So yeah.
Stashes where generally they're not populated by your lawful citizens, so you might encounter some people doing similar missions that are not very favorable to other people doing them. You might bump into them, you might have to end up in a fight, or maybe you join up on other adventures.
All right, so this is what I want to talk about: railguns. Now, this is probably kind of controversial. Now, tell me something. Explain to me the logic behind this, because I cannot understand the logic. So, this railgun that sits on his shoulder just took out a buccaneer, most likely in maybe 2 to 3 shots. Okay, 2 to 3 shots just took out that buccaneer. But the buccaneer's weaponry, when going up against other ships, which are bigger for the most part than that railgun, or at least look bigger maybe than that railgun, do less damage than that railgun does. So explain to me how a buccaneer with a bigger power plant on it, because this guy doesn't have a power plant on his back. He doesn't have, the gun's big, but not big enough to, be a power plant, that's the size of that's in that buccaneer. So tell me how the power plant can't produce enough energy in it to outperform this railgun, on other ships. So, or how about this? How about, if this railgun is so powerful, why can't we take this railgun and attach it to that buccaneer instead of using the power plant that's on the buccaneer that's obviously not near as strong as that railgun? You know what I'm saying? So how is that railgun that much powerful? And I'll probably talk about this more later on. So it would make more sense to me if a railgun came with like maybe some kind of battery pack on the back of them. But even then, it's still not going to make a whole lot of sense, because even with that battery pack, it still wouldn't seem that it's going to, create as much energy as the power plant on the Buccaneer. But maybe the Buccaneer's power plant is running, more systems and can't focus all of its energy that the power plant could on the back of him. But that's why, you're able to divert power to your weapons. So that's another thing. That's another discussion we can have, and I'll probably have another video about this discussion. But yeah.
The other more fixed risk factor is the chance of getting interdicted a lot more. So you will have to make sure when you get interdicted, you pretty much have to run for it. If they find the drugs on you or whatever illegal things you're moving, that will end up in you going to prison or in a fight or having to run for your life. And obviously, with the additional risk, there will come additional rewards that the legal side of the courier delivery missions will not give you. Looking ahead, we're also looking to add different sizes of parcels to delivers, including small handheld items that the player can stash in their inventory and all kind of other items that
stash it up their butt. I mean, that's that's what smugglers do, man.
Whatever you can think of. This is open-ended. We'll find cool things to add in there, different objects, different type of penalties if you get caught with them. We'll make it fun. Obviously, this is not the end of delivery missions. We will keep exploring and finding new things to add. We'll be making stuff interesting for everyone who is in this line of work in the universe. Whether they are on the legal or illegal side of things, we'll find something cool for them to move from point A to point B.
These new missions from Redwind are only the first in a new initiative to add more gameplay opportunities to those who want to play outside of proper society's rules and look to make their debut in the upcoming Alpha 3.17.2. But up next, here's a phrase you may not have heard around here in some time: service beacons. Specifically, combat assist service beacons. They've been due an upgrade for some time, and they're about to get their next one. Let's find out more.
With the current state of the combat service beacons, we like that it's content for players to go out and shoot a ship.
So this kind of bothers me a little bit, and here, let me explain why. I know they're updating the combat assist service beacons. But, to me, it's like, okay, if they could update the combat assist service beacons, why couldn't they make a service beacon for refueling? Why couldn't they just leave the combat assistant beacons like they are right now and take that time instead of updating these, creating service beacons for refueling? I don't know. That don't make any sense to me. I don't know why they're going back and, updating these systems. But, I don't know, man. I'm not seeing the bigger picture, so.
Gun at something. Like, it's combat, and that's fun and engaging and interesting. We like the concept, but not its current execution.
Service beacons are ways that players and NPCs can request assistance from the player or create missions for the players.
We don't like that there's not a whole lot of variety in them. You generally are fighting kind of the same ships.
I'd say one of the biggest problems is that there's no frame of reference to the player in terms of like what they're getting themselves into before they go. So the only indicator that the player has as to how difficult or challenging the mission's going to be is what the mission's paying. So the more that it pays, the more difficult the mission will be. And if as a new player, you don't know that or know that scale, you don't have any concept of what you're getting.
And I kind of get what they're doing, but at the same time, it's one of those things where, you have a small time, let's say you have a small time bounty, okay, and, or a small time request, and they're like, well, we'll pay you this to come and help defend. But you get out there and they're undercutting you, try to undercut your pay. I think it would be cool if they could put in a system also to where you get there, the combat's a little bit more than what you expected, and maybe you can ask for a little more. You can be like, listen, I came out here expecting one fighter, and I came out here and there was actually 4 fighters. So, I'm going to raise my price up a little bit, because of this, and kind of like barter in a sense. I think that would be really cool. I think understanding, knowing what you're getting into is understandable, but at the same time, it's kind of almost immersion breaking to me because sometimes you have these things where you're gonna we'll pay you 6,000 credits, and you get out there and you do the mission, and it should be like kind of like a random thing, like meaning not just based on pay on how hard it is. To me, it just kind of like breaks it a little bit. I mean, some cases, yes, I think that's fine, but other cases, it kind of breaks the immersion because you never know what you're going to run into, and you shouldn't it should always kind of be a surprise to you, in my opinion. You shouldn't, sit there and know, okay, I took a $3,000 service beacon, I'm going out here to this little Aurora, and I'm going to beat the hell out of it because this is an Aurora. Maybe the criminal, or maybe the service beacon, or whoever's doing it, they're getting attacked, and they're getting attacked by an Aurora, but maybe the Aurora has backup. So like when these people call and put out a distress signal saying, hey, I need combat assistance out here, at first they're like, okay, we're going to put 3,000 out because it's just an Aurora. But then, the Aurora brings friends, and it's like, oh, it's kind of immersive, in that sense. And maybe in the future they will do that. But, I don't know.
Getting yourself into.
What we are going to be doing is basically making it so that there are now 10 levels of difficulty for these combat service assist beacons. And when you go to accept them in your contract broker, you will be able to actually see that you are accepting anywhere from 1 to 10, depending on your reputation.
I think that they should have ones that, might say low threat. You go in thinking that it's a low threat, and boom, you're like, oh no, this isn't low threat. And I understand, I get it. You're going to have people that argue, well, I don't want that, because what if I don't show up prepared? Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's your fault. You didn't show up prepared. You always go into a system. You always go into a situation over prepared. But at the same time, I understand you've got to, if I'm not making a whole lot of money, I don't have a whole lot of money to pay out to pay other people to help me. So
the organization running these service assist beacons. In this particular case, difficulty 1 might be something as easy as go save this little relatively undamaged ship from an Aurora or something. Pretty easy, pretty starter, something that you should be able to handle. As you do more of them and rank up, you will unlock higher and rarer variants, up to difficulty 10, which should be something on the lines of like, oh, there is a relatively damaged ship being attacked by either a small group or an Idris or something quite threatening. And that mission should basically mean that when you are accepting it, you immediately say to your friends, everybody hop in, we're going to go and handle this together. That to us is kind of the key goal, is that those upper difficulties start getting people doing these together as a group and making the game feel more multiplayer, even
and that sounds great. That sounds great and all, but first of all, they got to get their servers stable, because when you get a whole bunch of people on one ship, there's a whole bunch of problems that go on. I've tried to crew, a multi-crew ship, and you have one person who's fallen out of a turret, and then if it's not that person falling out of a turret, then you got to go back and pick them up. It's someone else that, have got stuck into a wall, and then, now you're having to deal with that problem of someone else being stuck into the wall to, someone is, being stubbing their toe on the stairs and collapsing and dying, and now it's like, well, now we got to go pick this guy back up. So multi-crewing is, it can be a pain right now, especially with server stability or with the bugs. It can be a real pain, and it takes forever to get people to get on, and because then they got to get on, they got to do all this, so it definitely can be annoying sometimes, trying to get everybody together because everybody's got their own little thing they want to do or whatnot. So you definitely have to have people that are willing to work together and who understand that bugs are going to happen or whatnot. So
simpler, smaller missions.
That didn't destroy.
We're pretty excited for this update. It has been a.
Was that a railgun? How did that hammerhead just take a railgun to the face? That hammerhead should be gone. Oh.
We're pretty excited for this update. It has been a long time coming.
Sorry, I think I got a bug in my nose.
We're hoping that it will make this this piece of content considerably more engaging, something that players can have a bit more fun with and will want to engage with more. And it has served us quite ably as a method for ramping up a new designer so that we can start producing more and more content for you in the future. We are currently aiming for a release with 3.17.2.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that there will be more non-combat opportunities for aspiring criminals when illegal delivery missions come online. That the combat assist service beacons are getting a multi-stage glow-up that'll make it easier for players to prepare for what's ahead. And that you can call the 8th the 7th, but we all really know what's up. I guess technically we learned that last week. Now, don't forget that First Contact Day and International Bar Citizen Weekend are both upon us. Check out the RSI website for details. And then after that, it's Alien Week. Yeah, we're in the can't stop, won't stop corridor now. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Here are a few more shots of the currently under construction 7th floor of the Manchester Goods Yard building, future home of CIG UK. And we'll see you all here next week from the 8th, which is actually the 9th stories up. Don't cut me off.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you joining me again. If you want to discuss, join our Discord. It's in the link in the description. And you guys have a safe one night. Stay safe.